This mod review is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at an interesting script mod called Helper Admin. And what this mod does is it allows you to adjust, the maximum number of hired helpers that you can have on your game save. It allows you to name your hired helpers, and it allows you to adjust the pay rate of your hired helpers, not just during normal business hours, but there are 2 overtime rates that you can also adjust. So the way this works is if we pull up the F1 menu, you see we have left shift and then slash. Now, is that a forward slash? Is it a backward slash? I don't really care what kind of slash it is. It's the slash that's leaning towards the right. On US keyboards, it is typically the question mark key also, and it is typically under or close to the enter key, or directly beside, on my keyboard, directly beside the right shift. So I'm going to hold down left shift and the slash that's going to the right. And you can see here we can adjust the number of hired helpers. 6. We go 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, all the way up to 20. We can turn on and off the F1 menu display. And over here we can adjust how much these helpers cost per hour. So the base price is $1,000 an hour. We could decide that, well, we don't want to pay our guys that much. We only want to pay them $500 an hour. Or we may decide that, you know what, our helpers are really, really smart, and we want to pay them $2,000 an hour. Go from $150 all the way up to $2,000 an hour. Now we also have the overtime multiplier from 6 p.m. until 9 p. or 10 p.m. Okay, and it's 1.8. So if you were paying them $1,000 an hour at 6 p.m., they would start costing $1,800 per hour. We can adjust the overtime rate from 1.2 all the way up to 1.8. Now, at 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., they have another overtime multiplier of 2.2, and you can adjust that up from 2.2 to 3.4 also. Okay? Now, over here, we can name our helpers. Andy, Philip, Fraz. Those are the default names for the male helpers. And then we have Betty, Sarah, and Elizabeth. Those are the default names for the female helpers. So we can come over here and we can change this to, let's say Patrick, and we can change this one to Larry, and we can change this one to Daryl. Okay, and we can change Betty to Susie, Sarah with an A, and then we can change this to Mary. Okay, when we're done, we hit accept changes, and then we hit exit. Now, if we go in here and we hire a helper, okay, you can see down in the main menu, it might be hard to see, but if we go, we have Betty is our hired helper. You can see that she is now named. We no longer have helper H or helper B. You can also see the name down there in the mini map. It's kind of hard to see because the field 25 and 26 is there. So if we go in here and we dismiss Betty, we can now hire another helper, and we now have Elizabeth. Now you may notice that Elizabeth is rather male-ish looking. There is a comment on the helper admin information page that at this time there is a slight little issue where sometimes you get male names and female characters, and female names and male characters. But if you name them to kind of be gender neutral, then you won't really have that issue. Now, something else that I noticed here is didn't look like it saved our options because we had basically named these different names. It may be that we need to exit the game save before it remembers those. So now we're back to Betty again. And we have our male character. You could probably get around this by just naming them all one thing. Again, there's a slight little bug with that, so hopefully that will get figured out. But I thought this is a cool little mod. If you are into role-playing and you like to name your characters, then this will give you an opportunity to have them named. Have the name show up in the minimap if you wish and everything. Now, I did try this mod with the Vehicle Inspect, which is the mod that basically puts the information up on the upper left corner of the screen, and it did not put their name up there. I was hoping that it would, but it did not do that. So you can see at the top there it says Helper Andy has completed his task. I'm trying to get where we can see that. So it does replicate, if we are in the way. There we have Franz and Betty. So it seems to be half working with respect to the name changes. It probably is going to require us to, get out and save and then come back in for it to really take effect. I have seen a few script mods require that. You can see when I'm in the way, it says Helper Betty is obstructed. It's blocked by an object. Can you all read that? So there you go. That is Helper Admin. You can find it over at LS Mod Company, and I have a link to that in the description below. So until next time, guys, happy farming.